Hello everybody, Trainer Joe here for Facebook Live. Today we're going to talk about losing weight in spite of your weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. Sometimes though we use those weaknesses as our reason for not getting reaching the goals that we want or getting the results that we want. We can lose weight. You can lose weight in spite of whatever your weaknesses are. Let's talk about that. Practically speaking, let's look at some things that might make it difficult for you. Some people, they have a hard time. There's food in the house and they know, and my wife would tell you, if the pie is in the kitchen for too long, eventually it's going to disappear. And she doesn't like the way it disappears, so she says, don't bring it in the house. She doesn't want pies in the house. There's nothing wrong with having a weakness as long as you deal with it. Right? If you're just going to eat pies all the time because you got a weakness, when you could not bring them in the house. So you may not have the strength to continually say no to a pie that's in the kitchen, but maybe you had the strength not to buy it in the first place. Okay, so that's dealing with your weakness. Another one might be, a lot of people struggle with late night eating. Are you one of them? You get a lot of your calories in after dinner, between dinner and bedtime. That's not unusual. So a lot of people they go through my program, they learn, you know, I do better if I just don't eat after 7:30. St. Augustine said this. He said, for many, total abstinence is easier than perfect moderation. It's easier not to have anything after 7:30 than try to decide how much, how many cookies am I going to have. If it's none, it might be easier. You might be thinking, well, man, if I could do that. Well, you're going to have to decide if you're really in or not. A lot of people just don't have the mindset yet that's going to put them in a position to even want to do these things. It's like, well, yeah, I'd like to get healthy, but there's not a lot of evidence that they're really all in. So part of this really is going to be that initial commitment that says, I'm in, I'm going to do this. Let's look at the exercise part. I was at a diabetes expo. I had a booth there. And a lady came up who was a diabetic. She was at the expo because she was wanting to learn about getting healthier. And she said, oh, I've heard of your program. She said, I'd really be interested in learning more about it, maybe doing your program to get healthier and lose weight. But if exercise is a part of it, I'm not going to be able to do that part because I'm really too busy right now to exercise. And I just thought to myself, well, welcome to the Diabetes Expo. What do you expect? We've got to have a mindset that's different. A lot of people's mindset really stinks, and until it's renewed or changed, you're not going to be willing to do the things you need to do. And one guy, he said, Joe, I'm interested in your program. He said, but if I'm going to have to eat vegetables, I really wouldn't be interested in it because I don't like vegetables. I understand that, how some people don't like vegetables, but do you have a willingness to really want to do this? Because in reality, you don't have to eat vegetables to do my program. And I've had other people say, I don't want to have to eat these things. There's nothing you have to eat. But what are you willing to do? What if I asked you to eat less of what you eat now? And a lot of times the person that doesn't want vegetables or doesn't want to stop eating at 7:30, they're really not willing to do anything that's out of their comfort zone. So it's never going to happen for that person. Some people will tell me, well, Joe, you know, my problem is I have health problems, so it makes everything more difficult. And it probably does. And I'm not wanting to be insensitive at all, but if you have health problems, isn't that all the more reason that you need to take the bull by the horns and you need to really get serious? Some people tell me that they have a sedentary job where they're sitting all day. And man, that makes it harder. But the people that are in and that have committed, they find a way around that. Dan, who's lost 130-something pounds, says, you know, when I'm tempted at work to eat something I'm not supposed to eat, he said, I get up and I go. Now he's got some flexibility, and I try to get in a certain number of steps in this break time that I have. You know, so it's a different mindset. And part of this is, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a healthy person, somebody that's part of the team now, or are you still just wondering about it and not really committed yet? When you're committed, you look for a way to make it happen. When you're not committed, you're looking for a way out. And that's too often just where we are because our mindset stinks. Until you get a renewed mind, all this is just stuff that's kind of a good idea. You know, we say it's important. We say our health is important. Everybody says that. But what evidence is there that you're serious about it, that you're committed to it? You don't like vegetables, we need to question, have you ever been hungry? Because if you get hungry enough, you're going to like vegetables. If you say, well, I don't have time to exercise, then I'm going to question, well, what if the equipment was in your house? Well, I can't afford that. Well, which is it? You don't have time or you don't have money? Join the gym. It's $10 a month. Well, it's too far from my house. Suddenly we have to realize you really don't care. You're acting like you do and you want to care, but you don't yet. We've got to get the mindset. Well, I have equipment that it's in the basement and it's cold in the basement. Bring it upstairs. Well, it doesn't look good in the family room. You see where I'm going? We're going to have to decide, are we in or are we not in? Let's work on the mindset change. Train your brain and transform your body. Come to my class. Get my book. I'll try to put a link on here so you can get the book. Get the book, you'll get the mindset change. It's not going to happen until you change the way you think. Hope that helps you. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. Have a wonderful week. I'm Trainer Joe, helping you train your brain and transform your body.